trying to do it didn't work. It's not working. I was pushing the wrong button.
It's cool.
I was hitting Prep School open in overlay and not the video clip. And I was like, why not work?
Why not?
Why not work?
Boogity boogity.
Why not work for me?
Well, we're here now together.
We are.
Yes.
How are you, fine folk?
Fine.
Yeah. Fine.
Do you like my Gordon Gecko hair this morning?
Yeah, it's real nice.
Greed is good. Now I cut the sides really. I cut the sides, and sometimes they're like form these like strandy boys that are kind of irritating. So I was just like, I'm gonna put water in my head this morning.
Yeah.
Thus the weird slickback boy. Also, this came in the mail. I'm gonna make a Shiki baby.
Shiki baby.
Oh, the head's kind of small, but he did have this sweet fucking robe. I thought he would come with the clubs, but he did not come with clubs. This robe is fucking tight, like a toiga.
Like a toiga.
I took off these boots because I like them. Yee. All right. Well, boys.
Yeah.
How about we take it turns? Because I know, Beard, you had some stuff you wanted to talk about.
Oh, I just thought I'd share about. We started our new D&D campaign, and then.
How about you go first, and then I will go next.
Well, sure.
Well, tell us about the campaign.
So the campaign is essentially an Oops All Bards. They have formed a band by the name of Kismet, which I think is an excellent name for a band.
That is a really good name. That sounds like a band that Stevie Nicks was in before she was in.
Right. And so the vibe is
Fleetwood Mac.
Pretty good. Kismet, they made a playlist for themselves. It has Wings, Echo and the Bunnymen, Tears for Fears,
Fleetwood Mac,
Yoshida Brothers, no Fleetwood Mac, Roxy Music.
Come on, son.
John Lee Hooker, David Bowie, Cormac Begley.
What Bowie song?
The Bowie song is where'd he go? Word on a Wing.
Oh, interesting choice.
So yeah, it's a very kind of like not like rock and roll band. It's like a very kind of folksy, like pseudo new wave kind of pomo. There's like a Led Zeppelin song on there. There's
what Led Zeppelin song?
Flash song. There's Heartbreaker, and then When the Levee Breaks.
Oh,
so yeah, great jams.
Be careful. Led Zeppelin is a litigious group.
Oh well, I mean this is like
I'm joking.
We all made our playlist.
I'm joking.
You know, it's just a Spotify playlist. But yeah, it's been really good. We just kind of finally had kind of our first real session, and I just like have to offer up my thanks into the world for people that make modules. I found like a very fun alternative. I was thinking about running them through the Thunderlock bar crawl, but I and like just changing it all, but I decided to send them through something else that I don't know if anybody's going to watch this or not, but I essentially was like, oh, I want this first adventure to be like when Spinal Tap is in Cleveland and they get lost in the basement on the way. So it's sort of like a puzzle dungeon to get to the stage. So they encountered Goat Meat, the Immortal, which is a goat, and yeah, it's been pretty fun. It's they're a band that is opening for a large band, so we've done some pretty expansive work on creating a map for the entirety of the area, which has been pretty cool. Joel and I kind of worked on it. We sketched when we were all together, but then we also went in and he's like continued to refine it. He finally ended up getting COVID for the first time ever, so we didn't play last week. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. And I don't know why, but my everything is freezing up. I was going to show you the map really quick. Messenger could stop being a total butthole. Well, maybe it just might do. You might just do that. It might be fine. Anyway, yeah. So it's been very fun to kind of navigate all that, and yeah, and to kind of run a module. I think sometimes I get in my head about like, should I be making all of these things, for myself, and everything has to be. Everything has to
Did
be
you just do that
by me, but it's nice to feel like that it doesn't need to be the space. So
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
this is the map that we've been working on. Well, I've been sketching very poorly, and Joel's just been continuing to revisit, but like the Drakewind Falls was kind of located in this mountain range here, and like up here is where a lot of stuff that Warrior created is, but this is kind of the continent that Drakewind Falls, like kind of 25-ish episode
It
session.
almost looks like a dragon's head and then into like a tail or spine.
Yes, this is the Dragon's Tail archipelago here.
Here's the one.
It also kind of looks like the Drakewind Academy logo, which I kind of like. But yeah, that was Joel just being
Nice.
brilliant.
That's cool.
So, yeah, so we're going in, and he's shared a couple of, we kind of started off with a drawing. Oh, where's the dumb drawing? Oh yeah, so here's some of the early stuff. We kind of drew this while we were together, and then he started to we went through and kind of pointed out where all the geographies were from this other old map that I drew. And then he's been going in and like cleaning stuff up and adding, some things to make it more legible. But yeah, it's been very fun to do that, and to jump in with both feet again to a session. So they got about halfway through maybe the dungeon, and we're gonna dig back into that when we play next Tuesday, I think. So
Nice.
very fun. And then the other thing I've just been thinking a lot about is that last Star Wars session, and just like how.
Oh, you got to do one. Now it's my turn to do one.
Well, I just want.
No, you can talk about that after we do. I also have stuff I gotta get done, so we're going back and forth. It's an exchange.
Okay.
All right. I need a name. I need a name of a hamlet.
Of a what?
Of a hamlet. Like a small town, like less than 100 people type deal. Because I believe that's how a hamlet is 100 or less, I believe is what I read. Okay, so I need this name, but the thing is I want it to be a creepy name, but not like overtly creepy, because it's going to turn out that like 98% of the people in it are ghosts. So I gotta think of a good name, and it's also like a ghost town due to a winter that hit 10 years ago that like lasted like blizzard that like lasted forever and everyone died. Pretty much everybody died. So I'm trying to think of a name and I couldn't think of, so I thought I would farm it out to y'all in the chat this morning.
Do you want it to resonate with this like freezing thing or no? Is this
No, I just want it to be a little cryptic, but I want it to be like just be memorable enough to be something that can be it's a hamlet built around a wizard's tower in the middle. So if that helps at all.
The first thing that pops to mind is thaw. I don't know if that's too on the nose.
Oh, I wonder if there's a way to spell that in such a way that it doesn't just come off like THAW.
Yeah. Just make it Klingon or Elvish and toss a couple of apostrophes in there.
THAE maybe?
I think that I pronounce that they.
THAEW?
Yeah.
Or THAWE?
I mean, I think that, yeah. I'm trying to think of other things.
THAWE actually sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Let's write it down and see what it looks like. Colin, what do you think?
Roll it around.
I feel like it's Obadon Thon, but not quite.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Oh, it's just.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh man, someone left the Star Wars book out. Apparently,
what's that?
It's in this D&D chat on Facebook. Michael found a what is it? It's a Force of Destiny rulebook from Fantasy Flight, just sitting on a wall outside. Wow. Nice pickup.
Stan, we're.
I don't know. Other ideas, Colin. I like Thaw to a degree, though. I really do. Colin. Are you there, Colin?
Yeah. Sorry, man. My internet's, I think, being really crazy.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna get into Colin. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Colin? Which is kind of funny, but not really. Chat, if there's anybody out there,
It's not bad.
just tell me if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home?
I hear you, buddy.
Yeah, usually chat's like beating down the door on this, but not today, apparently. I picked the wrong. Looks like I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue.
I think there's only one person in chat right now, so it might be it. How about like what are the other defining features of the village? Is this like in the middle of a certain place? Is it on a river?
Like 40 miles out in a valley from Restwell. It's kind of drops down from the forest into a valley. It's close to the house, not close, but kind of up against the mountains where the Howling Mines are.
I mean, it could be something like the Flats, like something Flats. I'm trying to think of other like valley.
Thaw Flats is not bad.
What's that?
Thaw Flats isn't bad either.
No.
Sounds like a bad country band. Please welcome Thaw Flats to the stage. Their number one single, My Dog Stole My Wife. Oh, that was the weakest laugh ever. I know it wasn't funny when Beer was like,
No, I was trying to send a park to Sarah and trying to like dual mode, and my brain isn't dual mode yet.
I think Thaw Flats is what we're going to put for now. As
Rascal Flats.
Rascal Flats.
But it's RASKULL.
Okay, and I need a name.
Legally distinct.
Fucking wizard. Who wears a mask?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
I need a name for the wizard who wears a mask.
Gabbeth.
Here's my thing. I'm thinking the wizard's dead.
Butch.
But I'm thinking the wizard's dead.
Oh, well, Zed then. Because Zed's dead, baby. Zed's
But the
dead.
mask
dead.
but the mask is not. Zebediah.
Bring out the gimp.
Zedediah.
Zedediah.
Jemity. It's a combination of Jamie Kennedy's names because he was in Son of the Mask. What?
Okay. That's good. It's weird as fuck. I love it. So, Jemity or Zedediah?
Jemity Zedediah.
How about Zedediah Jemity?
There you go.
Okay. We'll go with Zedediah Jemity. Where's that stupid name spot at?
How about Zedegemini? All one word. Zedegemini.
I like the two.
Egemini. You can have him spell it all sassy like.
Oh God, what have I done with my life? What'd you do this morning? Oh, I made up stupid names on the internet. Par for the course. All right. And last but not least, I need a monster. I need like a hunting beast. Doesn't have to be extravagant, but something that draws the Cassandra's character Dianthus and the children away from the hearth that actually brings them to Thaw Flats. Because one thing I realized, so we do this game in real time. So that means that Ryan's been in the Feywild for a month, being hunted by the Feywild. And Cassandra was stranded at the end of last episode in the middle of a blizzard, which is this blizzard is going to be like nonstop for like 2 months. So and she has Jehoshaphat's hearth, but it can only run 16 hours and then it needs 8 hours off. So what do you do for 8 hours?
Are they hunting them like for
No, this is like going to be one of those things where this beast leads them to safety, because it's going to turn out the beast is not what it appears. It's actually a Fey spirit.
Okay.
It feels kind of bad, so it's going to lead them out of this death trap to this nearby village, which, it also is responsible for almost everyone dying there. So it's kind of like, I'm making good, I guess. I don't know. I'm Fey.
So should the beast be Fey then, or no? Does it make a difference?
Doesn't need to be, because the Fey person is a trickster god.
Gotcha.
Not a god. It's like a high-ranking Fey trickster.
Is the party going to? Are you going to try to get them to follow them like?
Oh no, this is in flashback.
Oh, okay. What do you think about flail snails?
I like flail snails, but I need something that can emote. That's the only thing. I need an animal that is like almost Disney in its Like this thing looks scary, but look, it's not. It's a good boy. Also, give me a second. I gotta turn my fan on.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic.
Mhm.
Fey animals. Go ahead, speak.
I am looking through.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
You all right?
Yeah, don't fall down. Just don't do it.
Gotcha.
Because falling down is bad for your health.
What are the
Oh,
non-evil blights? You know, the little like grooty tree folk.
There's Chewinga, which are kind of like little nature boys, but not nature boys. Who are like the little dudes in Stardew Valley who live in the community center who can be your friends, who love raisins. But I want like a beast. Like I thought maybe an owlbear, but I don't know. I want to know what those little Chewinga boys.
You don't want a little like displacer kitten or something?
No, I've already used that in other games. I'm trying to think of something different. I'm trying to switch it up just a little bit.
How about
do we want it to be like, hey, Spike?
Yo Spike?
Does it need to be like
Spike!
and more animalistic than like anthropomorphic?
Junimos, that's what they're
I'll
called.
be right back.
Junimos.
Junos. Shaggy.
Shaggy and Spike. We're truly blessed. Bombus.
The gruesome twosome.
I'm trying to think of like good foresty beasts. Just pull up
Yeah.
the D&D thing. 5e forest beasts. Bum 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 bum. See a lot of beasts. I was owlbear, of course.
Owlbear. Yeah, they're kind of a good standby as always.
They just meta talking.
I looked up like
there.
emotive kind of D&D stuff, and it just throwed like red caps and mean locks, things like that at me.
Here, let's take a look at a book. Maybe that'll inspire. Let's grab. Ow. Let's look in Dungeon Dad and see if Dungeon Dad's got anything, because that dude rocks. If you're not watching Dungeon Dad or following him on Patreon, get a monster every other week. They're generally really good. Let's get to the PNGs first, I guess. Can I just go to the
Ooh, Will-O-Wisp?
It's undead.
I mean, thinking of something that would like lure.
What's the boogeyman? He's coming to get you. Oh, that's creepy as fuck. Not what I'm looking for, but still cool. It's a Fae, at least.
Did you figure it out?
No. No. I'm looking through Dungeon Dad stuff and seeing if there's something there that jumps out.
How about a bristled moorbounder?
Bristled Moorbounder.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
It's like a saber-toothed tiger and a
Oh,
panther. Got it on.
What's
What
that
about-
from?
I'm not sure. Just a D and Dizzle. I think it's in Wildmount. Wildmount.
Ooh, could use a gray render.
Shaggy says Boggles. Spike says Dinosaur.
Boggles. What's a boggle, Shaggy? I like gray render because it's kind of very hulkish, but it will bond to people.
Oh yeah. Boggles kind of look like goblins and Gollum had a baby.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Never mind.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
look kind of
Humbaba.
What about like just one more throw out there, like awakened shrubs or trees? Because they're literally forest then.
Man. I don't know. I'm having. Ooh, what's Moondog?
Yeah.
What's Moondog? Okay. Look at this. Look at this fancy boy.
jeez.
He's
That
like,
looks like if
hey guys.
that's like Falcor and
Yeah.
Lonnie from Harry Potter had a baby.
Oh, it's kind of unnerving. It's definitely in that uncanny valley.
Yeah.
So far,
Moondog
Moondog's
spot.
kind of
Moondog spot.
Yeah. So far, Moondog's kind of got my vote.
I
We're
think
gonna
that's pretty rad.
We're going to open this up then over here. Take a little bit look. I gotta name all these other ones that I don't have that were before. The Pie Fiend. I love the Ragamuffin. That fucking monster's great. I'm using that already though. Elsewhere. Also like the Siege Crab, but not the right place. One of Doug's faves. Actually, probably one of Colin's faves, too.
What was that?
It's a Snallygaster, motherfucker.
Oh, hey, yeah, they're pretty sweet. Best name probably ever.
Look at that wild boy. It was a great name.
Eladrin, they're cool.
Yeah, but they're humanoids, and I'm already using them
Yeah.
in on the other side of the story. What is a Tickabalang? I will say, if you are looking for weirdo monsters from other editions, look at this fucking nightmare fuel.
No.
Yo.
I
No,
got
no.
a shaggy puby area.
Do not
Keep
want.
my pubes warm.
No, no, no. That's terrible. I hate that.
It's the ring as a horse.
It's a large fay.
Wilbur.
God damn, I really like this, but you're right. It's wrong tone.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's fine if you're into that, you know.
You're into that sort of thing.
If that's what you're into. All right, let's go on. Hey, if you could just go back to where I was, that'd be great, guy. White pudding. I think that's what we used to call Mike Harmon was white pudding. You laugh, but I'm not. I'm telling the truth. I think we literally used to call
Dude, that does not surprise me whatsoever.
it might have been white pudding or white chocolate. I don't remember. Okay. Well, we've. All right, we're going to the Moondog.
Yeah.
I like the Moondog. Mood, moon, dog. Was it
Moon
two words?
dog.
It's two word. Okay. All right. Go on. Your turn now. Beer. Unless. Do you have anything, Colin?
Mm-mm.
You sure?
Just here for the ride, baby.
Okay, baby. All right. Your turn then, Beard.
Yeah, I wasn't really going like full blown. I think I just wanted to say that I felt like that Star Wars session was really outstanding, and I am been kind of thinking about what I felt really fueled it. You know, I think that sometimes when we're doing the like post op and trying to like dig it apart ourselves, like whether we're running or whether we're playing, we just get like our own perspective so much, and so like we either get onto our own shit without necessarily seeing some of the other angles, or or we kind of just chalk it up to like, oh, we just like we had a good night type of thing, like there wasn't something that was deliberately good about it. But yeah, I thought it'd be really interesting just to chat about it for a couple minutes, because I don't know, maybe everybody didn't have the same opinion, but I just felt like everybody really had a chance to shine. And I thought like for having Colin's character like jump in, I felt like he like figured out his place, and there was like good things, like when people were just like, oh, I really like that voice, like sometimes I think we all like veer to like our own comfort zone in terms of like doing a voice or having like a personality, or something, we kind of like default to certain things that are easier to remember or easier to like
Yeah.
like react in the moment, rather than like having to like push it that extra little bit. I was telling Ben afterwards that like I really felt like when we were all Jedi, in the actual Order 66, the session that we played, it was easier to be a Jedi around other people that were being a certain amount of measured, or kind of trying to inhabit that, like, we're being a little bit more serious, in that space. But I think that that the Path game has ended up being this like really nice mix of like, there can be some laughs, and there's some Nate's character shacking up, and like there's things that aren't like kind of Jedi, but that's because there's no more Jedi. So it's like, who do you become as a Jedi in a post Order 66 era? And that was like the first time I actually felt kind of comfortable with where my character was, both kind of letting go a little bit, but then also just being like, oh no, this is like the thing he does. I think Ben actually said that, like, oh yeah, like this is the type of Jedi that Nate's character was, and this is the type of character that James's Jedi was, and that those aren't necessarily the same thing, and that's okay. I think that that's one of the things I liked the most about the Acolyte, without going into any spoilers or anything, but that there was just like very different kind of specialties and very different, kind of strengths in the Force. And I think that sometimes D&D kind of, runs into that problem too, where it's just like everybody's got a hammer, so everything's a nail, and it's just kind of like murder hoboing. But I think my favorite sessions and my favorite groups have been ones that have these like very distinct flavors that feels more like what I imagine Dungeons and Dragons would be like when I was younger, when I didn't play, that there's this like very specific like role that you can play. And yes, you fill in the gaps when you encounter something that is not kind of in somebody's lane, but it felt very, very nice. And I was just wondering if you guys had any thoughts on that, or just kind of like dynamic role playing, or like finding your characters, if there's ever been kind of a moment where you're like, oh, this is who I'm playing. It's like it doesn't always end up being who you think it's going to be, in a certain way.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Colin. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I really, for that one, made more of a concentrated effort over everything to not be as silly as I usually get. I feel like I usually specialize in playing very, very dumb characters, and I really wanted to I don't know. I just got really like just planning them out. Got really into like Nagri kind of like history and all that stuff, and like just looking through all the different information I could find on like their habits and dynamics and things, and then just thinking of this world like, okay, it's just been this peacetime thing. So no, this guy wouldn't be like this kill crazy, want to like, I'm going to stab this and stab that. And, you know, there'd be a lot of also deference to people who you'd see maybe as like more accomplished warriors, like, oh, what's her face? The one NPC, Vens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like, yeah, it was just, and also like, getting into the game with everyone seeming to have really well-defined characters already, that really helped me figure out like, okay, here's where I am, here's what I can be, and how just a better like give up like space to other people so they can. So it was just, yeah, I really enjoyed it. That was one of the better games I've played in a long time, I feel like. Just like for how I was playing, and but also just how everyone else was really, there was a lot of give and take in a really healthy way. And yeah, and like you were saying, everyone got like a chance to really shine and have like really cool moments. And also like Ben was just giving really good space for everyone to do that, and no one really like stole focus and became like the main character or anything like that. It was such a group effort and such a collaborative effort, I feel like, on everyone's parts. Yeah, like I had a blast, and I'm really looking forward to fleshing this character out a bit more and seeing how that can go. And maybe also just the fact that, you know, usually I tend to play like people like that are closer to like me, kind of like age wise and also like personality wise sometimes, just trying to be goofy as shit. So being like a much older character who's like, oh, you know what, my, you know, my days are almost done here and I want to make one last kind of good stand, and if I can.
What was the thing we talked about that like got us down that road when we were talking about your character? Do you remember? Because I've already forgotten. We talked about like a particular archetype, and I can't remember what it was. But we were having that conversation, and we was like, "Hey, I've been thinking about like I don't think it was like a gunslinger. Oh, it was Fargo, Judge Fargo.
Oh yeah, from Judge, yeah, doing the long walk in Judge Dredd,
Doing
and
a long
just
walk, yeah.
yeah, I thought that was a real cool, just having that kind of mindset of like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm of any use anymore to my community, but what I can do is maybe be of use to myself in a way of fulfilling like this kind of dormant desire to tap into what, you know, Nogri were in Legend to this guy. So yeah, it was fun. And also just, yeah, like none of us really leaned into like, oh, we're going to try to kill that, we're going to do this. I know I got pretty close with like, I'm going to slit this person's throat and feed him to this moss creature, but like that was all in like kind of within like the construct of like wanting to, I don't know, appease this entity and also be respectful to this one creature that was this other Nogri that was like giving itself up in a way. But yeah, it was, I just had a blast. It was so fun. It was really so fun and like truly so collaborative. And like, yeah, it didn't get silly, it didn't get frustrating, and we just kept the pace going, and that was so fun too. Just we didn't get bogged up with anything, and it just, it was flowing. It was really flowing in such a good way. Yeah, man, I cannot wait to get back to it. I really can't.
So I think for me, it's gonna be really hard to say this after you guys just talked about how much you liked it. A. If I had to letter grade it, was an A. I feel like there was two things, I can't recall what they were now because my brain no longer is focused on it. Where I swung. Oh, I remember one of them. When you have to over explain something, and I know there was one moment I had to do that. I don't recall exactly what it was now. It means I did a piss poor job leaving that I either explaining it previously or leaving breadcrumbs for you guys to come to your own conclusions on it. It wasn't anything big, but to me it was big because it was like, damn it, I felt like I left those and I just didn't make them direct enough. Also, it's Star Wars, and like one thing about being someone running a game like that is sometimes you forget your deep dive lore is not the same as the people are playing, and definitely not the same as the characters they're playing.
Yeah.
So that's a supremely unfair thing to do, and I am guilty of doing that in games. Plus, homebrew games is like, just because you know your homebrew world, no one else in your game gives a fuck about it, except for when it butts right up against their experience. And if it hasn't butted right up against their experience, then they don't know and they don't give a shit.
Mhm.
You know, it's not affecting them, and nor should they. It's your job to get them invested in it, and then to help them build their connection to the world. So that was it. I mean, I think if we're looking at it from the perspective of all the other stuff, I thought it was really well played by all the players. Also, chat, you killed it. You were extremely fun. I thought it was the separation of like this, the splitting of the parties was pretty natural this time, as opposed to like me sometimes forcing it just so I can do meanwhile. I felt that was pretty good. I'll tell you another spot that I was not where I was like, I fucked this up was the Moss of Lost stuff. And the problem is that was like a last minute, like a very, very, very last minute addition. Because it's like, oh, this just kind of feels interesting. It feels more Star Wars than D&D. Because it feels like more alien. So I just kind of jammed it in there, and then I was like, ew. So I had to over explain to make it make sense. Like if I would have been smart about it and it wouldn't have been something that just popped in my head and had to that I felt like I had to jam it in there, I would have dropped hints about it previously. What else? With the exception of fallback voice, hashtag Australians, I thought everyone killed it. Like I said, that's why I was very much like Colin started to do that. And I was like, no! Because I actually, honestly, Colin, I liked your kind of gruff, older person, kind of world-weary voice so much more than I like the Australian
it's
Mad
super,
Max extra voice. I really liked kind of that like Western character actor voice you had going, and I was like, oh no, we're not straying away from this. This is because out of all the players in that game, and no offense to any other players, no one else has a voice in that game. Everyone might have a, like, I think Beard, you and Warrior have, no offense to Nate. Nate is always Nate. Nate's voice is Nate's voice is Nate's voice. I don't think I've ever even heard Nate do an accent. So I feel like at some point I'd like to do the Nate accent challenge, the Nasty Nate accent challenge.
That would be amazing.
But I think with you and Ryan, it's a cadence change.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
For a character like this, definitely.
Like your cadence change for your character is far more like thoughtful, I guess. It's like you tend to like take pauses where that's, I know because I've been friends with you for so long, we've had so many conversations, I know that's not
My normal cadence.
Your normal cadence at all. Yeah, extra life marathon challenge and
That's awesome.
Nasty Nate accent challenge. And then Warrior just sluts it up.
Yeah.
So that character is just super slutty. And I kind of love it. It is very, to me, and I think Warrior and I joked about this. It's like it's Space Bruce, God damn it, mustache guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Why am I forgetting his
Reynolds.
name? Right. Yeah.
It's Space Burt Reynolds. Basically, is what I always think of when I think of that character, like circa Cannonball Run. More than anything else. So, like I could see that character being a bearskin rug boy. Just tidy whities lying on a bearskin rug, drinking his space Courvoisier, saying, "Oh, I didn't see you there."
Yeah,
So I like that. I mean, and I've been piss poor with voices this game too.
No, I think that they've been great.
But except for Neb Evans, maybe.
To me, I think that Star Wars is so much harder because it doesn't have like, I don't know how to say it. It's like it's very anthropocentric, but it's also supposed to be this like galaxy far, far away where there's all these different, things, but it somehow just keeps coming back to those, those human, looking people. And I think that you've done a really good job of them having distinct personalities. Like I think that the different, particularly, I think that this is hard. I think that the different like femme characters are harder to do that and have something unique about them. And I felt like both of the ones that are part of the party right now also have a good difference in cadence and difference in like you're not doing a voice, but you're doing a different tone. And I think that that's something that as a person who also runs is challenged, right? Like the three of us all run. And I think that trying to find that without like doing the like trademark Randy Turco from college female voice, like, oh my God, I'm a lady now. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what will ever happen?
And he knows it's a joke,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's because, like it's women's voices don't actually sound remarkably different, when you really get down to it. Oh man, just version of me.
That's great.
I need a picture of that desperately.
Gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, so I think it also helps that like when I know I'm going to use an NPC a lot, that it's easy to be like, oh, Felicia is kind of a take no shit.
Yeah.
Living a harder life and then living like a more like I kind of think of her as like someone who would have fit in the movie Alien.
Yeah.
As kind of like a space trucker kind of thing.
Huh. Yeah.
And then with Venz, whose name I can never remember, I just think about it. It's a monk, someone who grew up in a monastery, and grew up in a cult because they all basically fall in line to one person, who isn't of the same species and is of a line of a species that like treated everyone as disposable slave labor.
Yeah.
So that one's pretty easy. Neb Evans, I think, is just Neb Evans. That is all. I blame that all in the chat because that name conjures this weird thing. And now in my head, he's like the hamster version of a Bothan. And the other part about it, in it with just a huge like mustache. You're fucking welcome. Yeah, I know I am. I also like for all of the Jedi characters who were you should get that on a shirt. For all the Jedi characters, there should be kind of like this. I always feel like there's this almost like professional, again, almost like monastery religious brotherhood that goes on, or sisterhood, of like, hey, we've all trained in a very similar way. And then we went off and fought this war we had no interest in or no real understanding of. And now we're kind of adrift in the world. I mean, like, you know, I kind of put Nate's character in that spot of like, hey, are you going to keep this vow of celibacy thing that the Jedi have? And he immediately was like, nope. You know, I think Nate's Jedi is very much more like the gunslinging Jedi, you know, like, rules are off, baby. I'm doing what I need to do to get by. You know, he's very much like the gunslinger who comes to town.
Yeah.
I feel like your character is much more like the paladin.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if I don't have my order, what do I have? If I don't have my code, what do I have? The samurai.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
They can work together very well. But again, I look at it as like gunslinger versus samurai, you know, like which is very funny because they're same archetypes. Like Ronin samurai and gunslinger are the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Just Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, which makes it really interesting to me.
I think that I like to think of Nate and I as Kanan Jarrus before Ezra and after Ezra.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's a really good
like,
example.
There's a need to mentor. There's a need to hold on to some things after he has that purpose again, and that continuity. And before that, it's like, I need to survive. I need to, you know, find my way in the world type of thing. So,
and then I think with Ryan, again, I think Ryan's character very much also could have been on the Nostromo.
Yeah.
I kind of look at that whole crew. And this is the thing too, I think, and you're the exception in this, Colin, is Beard and Nate's character have like long history. They fought in the Clone Wars together. They probably knew each other maybe before that, although there were so many Jedi, who knows. But they fought on the very edge of space. They were in a group of like diplomats more than anything else. They were not there to do combat.
Yeah.
So they were under leadership of someone who had no interest in fighting wars. So they have a different outlook on things. And then when 66 happens, they're fucking ill prepared for that. And I think the one thing I'm very proud of in that session above all other things is when Order 66 happens in that game, or happened in that game, I actually caught the players off guard.
Oh yeah.
Everyone was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh shit, this is Order 66. And it was like, yeah, we were kind of, I told you this was going to happen before we played. And it still surprised them because I think it happened at the very end of the game too.
Yes.
But you know, if I can catch you guys off guard, a bunch of Star Wars nerds, I feel like then I've done my work. But they had that, and then so you have all that backstory to explore, and then with Ryan and you know the NPCs from his ship. So Ryan's character has all this stuff prior to that by himself, but then he spent like I want to say 3 years on this long range vessel, and then another 8 years since it crashed.
Yeah.
So the people that survived, you know, they've been together for 10 years in some way, shape, or form. So that's a lot of time. And it's like, you know, especially when like only Sheila and Ryan's character stayed in proximity to one another. Well, why? What happened with those other people? And Nub Rubbins, I think we've touched upon it, is like Captain died and you just started calling yourself the captain. The captain was my friend. Like I was around before you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just started referring to yourself as the captain. I'm not fucking okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's something to be said for stuff like that, which would bring me a little bit full circle to D&D for what's coming up tomorrow. Is I'm doing a month between the sessions, right? So what happened to these two characters in that month between? I'm just going to drop hints. They're going to end up both in like media res. Well, at least Ryan will. I'm not sure how I'm going to put exactly. Dianthus is going to be more in flashback almost. And then I'm going to kind of drop that right here when Ryan stuff kind of starts to go off the rails. But I want like the fact that Ryan is very much the beginning of the session is Scott Warrior doing like an almost Indiana Jones-esque, replacing the statue with the sand moment while under duress, and then it's going to open this portal, and then the portal doesn't take him where he thinks it's supposed to take him.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to touch upon the fact, like the person that gave you this dust, hey, Neil Robinson.
Hello.
Hope you're doing well as well, Neil. Good to see you as always. This person, I'm just gonna have this moment where I'm gonna be like, when he shows up in the cauldron, is gonna be like, hey, what Miriam gave you that. Did she know? Did she give a shit at all about you? Did that night you spent in that grotto dreaming with her, did that mean anything? And I'm hoping he'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then like, I don't know, what you tell me? Tell me what I'm talking about. It's kind of like the same thing as like, I want to be able to, with Dianthus, with Cassandra, be able to go, when we get to this part where it's like the kids that she's with come running back to the house she's staying in, or that they're staying in together, and say, I can't find blah, 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 these other children. It's because they're fucking ghosts.
Damn.
They're just gone. So it's an idea of like, well, where are these kids at? What happened to these kids? We're still in the middle of this like blizzard that's been going on for 30 fucking days.
Damn.
But where are these children? I'm hoping it'll drive Cassandra's character to be like, I found these fucking kids. Now I gotta go find these other kids, which hopefully will lead to this idea of like starting to figure out like something isn't quite right here, because with the blizzard, they've been sort of cut off from everybody else in the village, but not entirely. They've seen them, they've interacted with them. But also they're like, I'm going to kind of play up the fact that like maybe during winter, they're far more corporeal than they would be during the non-winter.
Yeah.
So it leads me to my next question, and then we'll get back to Star Wars. I need 3 characters who've survived and now live. 3 other characters, because I'm going to say that the person that they're staying with is a Warforged named Paramore.
Nice. So 3 other people that have survived?
Yes. So I need 3 other characters who would be alive and are in a state of delusion.
And these are new characters that they haven't met, or these are
characters that I will basically backfill that
okay.
that Dianthus has sort of interacted with over the last month. Because my idea too is like the ghosts, these apparitions, these shadows of people, they are they're fine. They're like living their fake lives. But these 3 people who are still there, who can't leave, they're the ones who are fucked up.
Okay. Huh. Well, do you have I
have no names, so I'm just looking for names. And then
I'm just thinking, like, is this a village that you might have like a prognosticator or someone who might be an apothecary / like maybe they do a little fortune telling on the side?
Yeah, I mean, why not? We have a wizard, so I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where like something like lays down like something, it's like a town that like pops up around like a mine type of thing, except for this is a town that pops up around a wizard's tower.
How about like an apothecary / maybe does a little divining named Romulus Fogg, 2 G's. Like he'll set you up, but he'll also set you off.
The local apothecary Romulus, the tight spot.
Yeah,
Fogg. We could go.
You can go wherever you'd like to go.
We could go Alan Fieldhouse spelling.
I think
Fog Allen, baby, beware the fog.
he also does a little divination on the side. Like if you need to have your future read, or if you need a little something to go on a spirit journey, maybe that's your man. Ooh, I like the name.
By the way, I love your map. I think you and Joel are doing a kick-ass job on that. I don't think I said
Thanks,
that
man.
earlier.
I like the last name Seymour.
Suddenly Seymour.
Yeah. How about Lucas Seymour?
Okay, who is Lucas Seymour?
I think Lucas Seymour.
Luca or Lucas?
I was thinking Luca.
Lukka.
Yeah, or Luca, however you want to spell it. Whatever fits in your canon. I think that he is like a civil, like engineer, planner type of person. He's a person who helps to kind of like lay out the city and expand it and like keep up kind of civil infrastructure or something like that.
I'm trying to think about how you would do that though for like a hamlet, like that is sprung up around a building. So what I'm thinking is maybe he is a carpenter.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Chat, you're missing your chance to throw your ideas in.
Yeah.
Currently, and Colin, currently this is Beard just being like, you need people? I got people.
How about Libby Herschel?
Surprisingly enough, that is the name of someone I went to school with. So no.
Oh, sorry. How about?
Which is frightening. Which is her real name is Elizabeth Herschel, but everyone called her Libby. God, that's wild, Beard. Where the fuck did you come up with that?
I'm just looking at books and
I'm assuming these other two are humans.
Beard
is too fast.
Sure. I mean, I think that either could be
someone's looking for
either like
tickets, huh?
A gnome, or it could be
I feel like Luca might be a gnome.
Yeah, I think that sounds fine. How about Jesse Calthorpe?
Jesse Calthorpe. Everybody's.
It's a lady.
What's Jesse's girl? Who is Jesse Calthorpe?
I think Jesse Calthorpe is I think that she is a potter. But not like you're a wizard, Gary. Like I make dishes and jugs and stuff.
How about instead of a potter, what if she was the Undertaker?
Sure.
Nice ass. There's got to be a better name for that.
Than Undertaker?
Than an Undertaker. There's other names for that. I just can't remember what it is. Medieval word
Mortician
for Undertaker.
Mortician,
embalmer.
Yeah.
There's like a name for it though. There's like a
thanatologist.
Thanatologist is such a fucking good name.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's another. Funeralist.
Hunter, Black Master,
It was like a name. It was like another name.
Funeral Director, Cold Cook.
Cold Cook, really?
Yeah, it's a synonym, it says.
Cold Cook for under. That's a hot name.
Yeah.
Wonder why they call them Cold Cook.
I don't know. Let's look it up. Apparently it was a slang term for an undertaker in the 1870s. It's a reference to John Camden Houghton, who wrote a slang dictionary in the 1850s. So yeah.
I think it works too, just because it's like they died during this like whole fucking. You also had Black Master Shaggy Upholder. Oh, nice, Mike. Good one.
I love Grave Digger. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cool. Perfect. We got. So I would ask, what delusions do they kind of fall under? I'd like to give each of them like a delusional state.
Oh. Like, what would you consider a delusional state?
One might talk to the dead, or talk like they're talking to the dead, like talking like they. I'm trying to think of like what a good delusion would be, but because the dead are actually there, that wouldn't work. Like one might constantly be cold, regardless of circumstances. Like they could be by the fire, and they're just always freezing. And it's not like a psychosomatic thing. It's actually like they occasionally you can see like the frostbite on their fingers, even though they don't go outside. Or for like the divination Romulus, he might be stuck in like a Groundhog Day situation where he is only making a prediction for tomorrow, and it's the same prediction over and over and over again, because to him tomorrow never came. So I'm looking for like three things like that kind of will, I guess, set them apart, that where they're acting weird as opposed to everybody else. Or it might be, instead of like can hear the dead, it's someone who actively understands like they're not there, that these people are dead. So it's constantly going, that's not my child. Like I was listening to In the Hairy Ones Will Dance, which is a Manly Wade Wellman's story.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is like, well, one of the main parts is they go to, I can't remember the main character because it's the character he's used before, who used to be a stage magician and now is like a someone who goes around and debunks magic and stuff like that. I can't think of the name for that.
Oh.
That's what they do. And so they're on a tour with a and this is like, I want to say in like the 20s. They're on tour with a parapsychologist, or what would you call it? Someone who believes in all that shit.
Yeah.
And they started off as like kind of like enemies to one another. And instead, over this time, they've grown into colleagues and friends. But the old man, who's the parascientist, is constantly like, how can you not believe in all of this? He's like an old Jewish man. And he's like, to me, it baffles me that you can see things in front of your face and say that they're false, and you will justify coming up with reasons that they're false. So what would it take me to be able to prove this to you finally. He's like, I would have to see without a shadow of a doubt, with no interference, under my strict circumstances in controlled environment, like an ectoplasmic manifestation. So finally the old man's like, okay, if that's what it's going to take, we've got some time off between our next debate. I know this woman. And I think if I remember correctly, it is in the Appalachians, of course. I think that's where Wellman was from. So they go, and the girl's father, I think the woman, she's not a girl. I think she's like 19 or something like that. She lives with her father, and he's very much like the old man's been there before. So he's like, I told you, like, we weren't doing this. And he's like, this will be the last time. So anyway, long story short, she goes into a trance, and there's a manifestation which kills her father. But before that happens, like when she starts to go into her trance and everything, she like looks a little different. And the thing that happens is her father looks at them both and says, "That's not my daughter." And that's like one of the chapter names. But it's like, it's really, I'm listening to it. So the guy who's doing the reading is pretty good at like giving everyone distinct voices. And the father's got like this gravelly voice, like a guy who lives out in the middle of nowhere. And but he says, you know, "That's not my daughter." And of course, then this thing kills him, like rips him apart. So like, I like the idea of someone being like, "That's not my wife," or "That's, you know," just like wide-eyed and crazy looking, telling Dianthus, like, "Don't trust anyone. That's not my wife. That's not her. None of these people are who they seem they are." Like almost like reversing Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You know, would it be reversed, I guess, but you know, someone saying this isn't what it seems. You know, I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out.
That's my horse.
What would be a good delusion for each of them? Because I want each to have like a delusion or a specific like audit behavior that they get into. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what those things could be.
Well, I think I'm going to go with, for Romulus, it is the Groundhog Day.
I think it'd be funnier to have Luca be the Groundhog Day, and that he like builds something over and over and over again, and it's just like never quite fixed, or it's never, you know, it's just like he's always having to do the same thing. I think Romulus as an apothecary or like divination might be clever to have that hook of like, you know, you're under the influence of my prescription, you know.
What's he making over and over again? I almost said like a crib, but goddamn, that's dark.
Yeah, I think mending a like a footbridge or something like that, something that like connects the different parts of the.
See, I was thinking like something simple, like a chair.
Oh,
because I did at some point, you know, looking for the children, they could open into a house that they've never been into, and it's just full of chairs, stacked like floor to ceiling.
That's great. Do a chair then. Yeah, I think good. I think a rocking chair, because that's creaky and creepy. Colin knows what I'm talking about.
Rocking chairs are creaky and creepy.
They are.
Yeah.
Especially when they're rocking and creaking by themselves.
Yeah.
If those chairs are rocking, that means someone's in it.
Lives through the Red Dead Redemption building cutscene every single day.
Domulus. Famulus. How about Romulus? Those are his brothers.
How about Badonkadonkulus?
Okay. What was Romulus's deal? Did we come up with?
He's convinced that like they are in a shared, basically like a shared dream from one of his prescriptions. But they're on like a shared trip.
Just everyone or the PCs? Would it be interesting if he thinks that Dianthus and the children are illusions inside of his trip?
That would be crazy. Yeah. Like, never get high on your own supply, y'all.
Yeah.
This is what happens. Bomulus, you coward. Bomulus. So good.
I misspelled hallucinations, didn't I?
Man. I just got a reminder from the Know Before, like the place that you have to do all of your trainings for work. 11:04 a.m. on a Sunday. Come on, y'all. You send me a reminder to do my FERPA training on a Sunday? Come. I have till the 6th of September.
This is why I love when I get like, I'll respond to somebody. Like, I don't know if I told you guys about the weird shit I'm going through with HR right now.
Mm-mm.
But like they sent me that at like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, I'm going through a weird thing with HR where they out of the blue contacted me with a form letter asking me for my ADA accommodations paperwork.
Okay.
Through a form letter. And I responded like, what are you talking about? They sent me another form letter with all of these attachments about ADA. And I sent them an email back saying, yes, I know what ADA is because I've helped people get on ADA accommodations before. If you're talking about the fact that I work from home for all my hours, that was contingent upon my hire.
Yeah.
That was an agreement I made with LSS to take this job.
Yeah.
That actually makes sure I don't come to you with accommodations.
Yeah.
Because if I had to work in an office or travel, I would need accommodations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So by working at home, I don't need accommodations.
Yeah.
I sent that email at 7:30 on Wednesday. I have yet to hear anything back.
I hate that. I hate that shit. I'm sorry.
So it's like, my guess is someone bitched to someone not directly associated with me or my supervisor, because my current supervisor and I've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
And I've explained to him, like, part of that was medical, but part of it also was like, that was the agreement before you were supervisor. And so the person that is above the person above you, who's now in that position, made that agreement. So if you guys want to change conditions of my employment, that's a conversation we can have.
Yeah.
But I will tell you now that conversation will lead to me either asking for more money, or it will lead to me saying that I will be looking for alternative employment. Which from my understanding is not what you want, although who knows with you guys.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's a new person or not. It's not someone I recognize. So not someone I work with. Cassandra thinks it's someone else who bitched and complained. Well, if I don't get to work from home, why does this person get to work from home? And so this person was.
Are you going to die? No? Okay, shut the fuck up.
My thing with that is always like, you guys go on and on and on about HIPAA. Like, I can't fucking throw a rock without hitting a day where I have to have a conversation about HIPAA.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I'm very open about my situation, but why is someone else using that for justification of them not wanting to follow the circuit? Because like Cassandra had to argue and go back and forth about working from home, and she gets to work from home part-time, like 3 out of 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And her supervisor constantly goes like back and forth with that, like, oh, you have to come in this week at all, to like, are you here 2 days this week? Because they're insane. but like our friend who works in HR, who I recruited to come to our place of business, she's like, yeah, they told us we had to be in the office 1 day a week minimum. She's like, I'm never in the office because the people who run HR are like, we don't care.
Yeah.
So she and I haven't talked because her dog had ACL surgery late last week. And I don't want to, I know that's like a shit show right now because her dog is her emotional support dog, who that dog also has an emotional support dog. So I know that shit is like currently in her household is fucking wild. Hello.
Bing bong.
We're all good.
What do we decide on? Is Jess going to be the one who is like everybody's dead?
Sure. Yeah, I think so. Like you, if you're a hammer, all you see is nails, baby. Jesse thinks he or she has to either build or dig a certain way. The being he or she working on will try to kill him. Colin, because of the color of your headphones, I find that you look like a medical professional. I feel like I'm on like a really cool WebMD call. It's like the blue and white.
Yeah.
I feel very like, oh, he's looking after my well-being. I need to tell him about my achy back.
Tell me about your achy back. How can I help?
Well, I've been laying on it for the past few days because I've been under the weather, which is one of the reasons why I'm not coming to see you today. I'm very sick, and I'm not very sick, but I have had this sinus blockage and just like so tired, and I'm COVID negative, and like I just like Greta had it, and then Sarah had it, and now I've had it, and I feel like I've had it worse. But I don't have any like, I'm not like blowing my nose at all, and like Sarah was and kind of still is. So I don't know. It's the storms, man. I wish I felt it in my knee instead of my nasal passages.
Yeah.
Having a nasal headache is the worst.
You do not want joint pain.
I have, dude.
Really
when you feel your heart beat in your head for days on end, I just can't get it.
Yeah, I have headaches like that, but man, significantly like chronic joint pain is fucking awful.
Yeah.
They're both awful. It's not a pain off.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying I want that shit. I'm just saying that I wish I could go back to a time where when there was a big barometric pressure change, I didn't feel like,
death.
John Henry Irons was pounding my head for days on end.
Yeah, I feel like I get the headache from that, but not near as bad as I get the I can't make a fist, and like everything is just hurts constantly.
Yeah.
Although I can pretty much make a fist today.
Nice.
But everything on my right side especially hurts because apparently I went down right side shoulder first.
Oh, Shaggy, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, there's been COVID going around. I think I said it earlier, but Joel, finally got it for the first time ever. Which
Doug had it. I thought Doug, we thought Doug gave it to us.
Yeah, close shave. But
and then I was worried I gave it to you.
Yeah, I think we survived. So we got that going for us, which is nice.
Okay. Last one. What did Adeline Featherbottom give to the Feywives? What did she sacrifice to them? So, because here's the thing. So Ryan uses that dust,
Yeah.
opens the portal, steps through just as the Darklings are finally have tracked him down. It doesn't take him to the Prime, though. He actually ends up in the Cauldron, which is where the failed wives live.
Oh.
And in there's partitioners, or, which are called just wives.
Yeah.
Are in there. They're just people from the Prime who are there, like trying to gain the favor of these three hags. And they are like cooking and cleaning and do all this. One of the people there is Adeline. So as an exhausted Tiburon like comes through and they all see him and they know who he is because he and Dianthus fucked up that ceremony, they pull out knives, like just grab all the knives in this kitchen, and they're going to kill him. And she steps in and she's going to be like, see, they do provide. I asked for this and they provided it. She's talking about Tiburon. So she actually did, like, ask for that boon.
Yeah.
But what did she give up for it? Her pet duck. I didn't know she had a pet duck.
She does now.
I thought we would have talked about that since she's been like a pretty significant NPC. So my thoughts were a couple things. Her cherished carpenter tools, because she's a carpenter. Or maybe the memory of her husband, which was killed by, I can't think of dude's name, who then turned out to be like the werewolf killer, who had like a name that because Tiburon was one of the people that agreed that they should wipe that from her memory. So they took that away from this guy that was her best friend growing up, who she knew kind of had a thing for her, and then did all these fucking horrible things, and then tried to kill her. That's why they took those memories away, is because they were like, this lady's been through enough, because we're pretty sure he killed her husband. So I'm thinking like maybe the memory of her husband.
Oh, that's tough.
Fucking rough, though.
Yeah. I guess it depends on, how rough you want it,
I'm thinking maybe she just can't build anymore. Maybe like it's her hands. Maybe she has like arthritis, like crippling arthritis. Speaking of joint pain.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I was asking. What do you guys think? What is something you would give up for someone else? Like if somebody could grant you this boon, what would you be willing to give up? But it has to be something you can't be like, I'm going to give up red meat. It's got to be something like significant.
What does she do for, what is her?
She's a carpenter. She is like responsible for building like a lot of that town, or at least upkeeping it. She's like one of those people who's like extremely talented and fast. I did say that. That's fair. That's fair.
Is she I'm just trying to think of like things that are great impairments when you're trying to build. And like me personally, I have to be very careful about what I do, because I have a fear of falling from heights. And so I have to like,
she can only build ramblers now.
Yeah. I don't know.
Ooh, that one's good too. So this is the thing too, I got to be really careful of. I don't want to rob her of her agency or her place, because I built this NPC to be important, and because she's a female character especially, and I'm not a female person, if I take a character and I do something really bad, I'm basically fridging them.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want that. Like, I hate that. So I'm trying to figure out a good way to give them peril and show sacrifice without like just ripping out one of the like fundamental cornerstones of the person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I know it's like, don't be, kill your darlings type of thing.
Hmm.
But I also want to be really, really careful with that, because it's not a book, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something I try to be cognizant of.
She have kept something she felt for deceased family.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been like something to do with her husband. Because if I didn't take the memory away, it could have been like. Oh, goddamn. I do love that spike. That's like something that's right here the whole time, and I just missed it. That's really good. So far, that's definitely the leader in sports entertainment. Uh-oh. Beard is BRB. Beard, really beard. Beard, really beard. Any suggestions, Colleen?
I was thinking like she gives up memories of like the courtship of her and her husband, and
Oh,
or
that's
maybe
also very
even like she's like maybe go so far as the point she's aware she had a husband, she knows she had a husband, but all the memories of like love and joy between them are gone, and the one thing that does stand out is like just losing him. So she knows she had this relationship, but it's just the loss of it that she's left with, and the grief.
God damn, that's also fucking real good, dude. Anyone else have any ideas? Oof, man, that's a toss-up. Those are both excellent. One being like a physical thing that can be overcome, but with challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is just like a stain on your person. Do you think that ends up being too similar to the fact they took memories away already?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that would be. So maybe you would want to go with something a little more physical, I guess. Or not so, I mean, yeah, like something that's like tangible, that's a loss to her instead of just
Let's go with the hand. I like
Yeah.
that. She loses her left hand.
Plus, she can have great nicknames.
Handy.
Stumpy.
She's so handy, you don't even know. Where is it? What she sacrificed was her left hand. Once she touches Tiburon, it is as if a blade chops it off at the wrist, leaving it to fall to the floor, flopping and just what is that word? Just Gesticulating.
Gesticulating is like when you move, like
Mhm.
you talk with your hands. I also thought it'd be really interesting if she feels like it's gone, but it's not. It's just dead.
Like Phantom Limb. Phantom Limb is a dick.
Yes.
I miss Venture Brothers a lot. I still haven't watched the final movie because I don't
Want it to end?
want it to end. Yeah. How depressing is that?
I think it's depressing. I think it's
All right.
real.
Anyone else got anything they want to talk about? Because
I feel like we had a good morning.
I don't know what I'm going to do if more people show up, but I figure I can work them in. Like I know what I'll do if like Brian shows up. That like Brian's character's been, and at the Fireclaw Farms, like helping out up there.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like the mystery of like where do these people go? It's been a month.
Yeah.
It's been a couple months since he's been around, but I feel like it's easy to write him off with the kobolds and the I can't think of the families that live up there, but like helping out up there. But I mean, yeah, I almost got buried. Not quite. Almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and assassinations.
Hey, dude, don't make me cancel this entire tour like a dickhead and then say we'll come back at some point.
All I'm saying is it just would have been a little bit, only 6 inches off.
Cologne, how
Did I just hear one of the dogs?
yeah, that was who he is here.
Hi, Yui! Hi, buddy! I haven't seen you in like a year.
Look at me. Hi, Uncle
Hi,
Ben.
buddy!
Yeah. He'll come say hi. I don't know if he'll be able to get up.
Hi, Yui!
You want to jump up? No. He's not jumping up. There you go. Cologne, how is your journey going? How is the second chance stuff going? Do you want to talk about that? I didn't know if you want to chat about it or not. But I feel like I had a chance to check in.
It's going kind of slow. I've got like 2 people really only like signed up for it so far.
Are you doing it all in person or are you doing some remotely too?
In person so far, yeah. I don't know. My dad and I have been talking about setting me up as in kind of like a nonprofit kind of thing where I then could start really focusing my services to like people with disabilities or like more senior clientele, just people underserved that could benefit from doing that stuff. And he's really good at writing grants. So yeah, we're talking about maybe getting that back or doing that whenever he and my mom are off in Ireland at the moment. So
gotcha.
But yeah, no, like it's I don't know, it's really slow going at the moment. Trying not to get too down about it. And then I don't know, just looking for in the meantime, like any kind of like part-time work to supplement stuff has been really, really difficult, just as like having such a huge gap in my work experience, being a part-time or being a stay-at-home dad has just, man. So it's, I don't know, try not to get discouraged, but I mean, I don't know.
It's a slow start. It's a new, it's a new thing too. That takes so long to get.
So this will sound weird, but have you looked at maybe like going on disability?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Because the reality is, if your diagnosis is preventing you from being effective in the workforce, or causes a big enough hardship in your life, and you have medical paperwork to back that up, to back that ass up,
Yeah.
then that is so I'll tell you this, having
Spike.
this having went through this experience with multiple people, but most personally helping my father get on disability, they're going to deny you the first time.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you bring them. It is just how the system works.
Yeah.
They're going to say nope. And then you have to go to the next round. And that's where they actually will spend time going through everything.
Yeah.
And that's where generally you are able to put yourself in a position to actually go on Part D.
Yeah.
Part
Yeah.
D.
I don't know. Yeah, I could look into that, I guess.
I mean, I don't know exactly what overall what your diagnostic history is, or what have you, but I know it might be something to look into.
Yeah. Well, currently I just got diagnosed bipolar 2, so that's the deal I got going right now. And there's this job placement thing through NASM, the accreditation thing I went through. But like there's like nothing. I thought at first when I was doing some searches, I was like, oh, it looks like there's all this stuff available, but it was just like Google like throwing out a bunch of shit like, oh yeah, there's jobs in Virginia the state, or the Virgin Islands. It's just like, oh fuck, okay, cool, that doesn't help.
Is there a deed office up there?
I'm not too sure.
That would be the next place I would look. So most deed offices, you can just go in and they will help you with that. But also I know what the ones in the Metro have is they have like Job Club, which sounds weird as fuck. But it's a lot of people who get together who are in a similar boat as you, and then you just kind of help one another out. You make connections and build networks.
Yeah.
Deed can also help you by reaching out to other deed offices or organizations that might be looking for what you're offering. They can hook you up. That's what they do essentially. Is their job is to get people employed.
Okay.
And give you like skills, whether it's resume writing, especially if you haven't been in the workforce for a while.
Yeah.
Like they will open all that up for you. And if you are also have a diagnosis, and if you're on like, if you're on disability or whatever, the thing to remember is like, if you get on disability, you can only make so much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a cap, or they start to take away from you. The other thing I'll say about disability is, especially if you don't have insurance, getting on disability is a massive help.
Yeah.
Because if you're on meds and you're on a lot of them, fucking medication is expensive as fuck.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Especially if you need those medications to be functional. Having that diagnostic criteria and disability will make those meds basically the cost non-existent.
Yeah.
And it also kind of, when you have meds like what we've gone through the last like 5 months, where our injectable for diabetes has been virtually Ozempic style medicine has been virtually impossible to get because everyone wants to get it for a weight loss med. So now the demand has eclipsed the supply. So people who actually have been on it for a number of years, we can't get it, which is fucking stupid because it's a med I actually have to have. My wife actually has to have. As opposed to someone who's not trying to lose 20 pounds. Also, that's a med where like when you get on it, it fucks your stomach up for 2 months real bad.
Yeah.
And then when you get off it, it fucks your stomach up for 2 months real bad. So now like we're off of it and they're like, well, we can give you like a month's supply. My prescription is 3 months. I get a refill every 3 months. So what you're telling me is I'm going to take this. I'm going to get sick for 2 weeks. I'll be fine for 2 weeks. And then I'm going to get off it and be sick for 2 weeks. Yeah, no fucking thanks. Call me when I can get my prescription. Since every fucking Ken and Karen out in the world want to use this. But when you have that diagnosis, you get pushed to the front of the line.
Okay.
Which is weird because as someone who is on anticonvulsants, there's sometimes I can't get that med,
Yeah.
my anticonvulsant, which you can't just stop taking. But I also know the supply can be really, really low sometimes for that med. I don't know why, but I'm happy to go to the back of the line when there's a bunch of people that are on disability who actually need that medication even more than I do,
Yeah.
and they go to the front of the line. So you'll find yourself in a situation where you're not going to be like out of a med.
Mm-hmm.
That may be a med that keeps you completely functional. Because I don't know if everybody knows this, but sometimes there's no meds.
Yeah. Yeah.
You call the pharmacy and they're like, we don't have that. And you're like, how can you not fucking have this? How can you not have my antidepressant? Like, how? How is this just not there anymore?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's not.
Yeah. No, it's insane how that works.
The other thing I'll say is if you have that and you're working, it's easier to get accommodations, exceptions, and things like that, which can help you in the workforce at large until you can get going on your project.
Mm-hmm.
And if you find yourself in a situation where you're like butting into things that are blocking your progress, but you're on you're receiving disability services, you can get someone to help you come in and God, I can't remember what it's called now. There's a plan in Minnesota that came up like 4 years ago that I was a certified person for,
Mm-hmm.
where they come in and they help you. And there's 3 forms to this plan. They want to either make you a contractor, they either want to make you completely independent, or they want to help you find employment. And this is for people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the coolest things was we had somebody, this was like the premier example in the state, who wanted to work in the food industry. But they didn't want to just wash dishes, which is kind of like, unfortunately, what I would say almost all the people with disabilities end up doing in the food industry.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to be their own business. So what they ended up doing was they became an independent contractor with a restaurant, and they provided ice cream. They had their own ice cream machine.
Oh.
The state helped them buy. And they ended up having a longer life. Their business had a longer life than the business they were working with. The restaurant went out of business, so they ended up getting a job as a contractor at another fucking restaurant because they were so good at it. So I mean, like, they're willing to do some interesting stuff with that.
Okay.
Like, I worked with someone who had mental health issues, and had ASD,
Mm-hmm.
who was a graduate student, in geography. GIS, isn't that geography-based program?
Yeah.
Yeah, GIS.
Information systems.
Yeah. And I had to do all this work with them. They were really hard to work with. Beard, you might remember me talking about this person occasionally in the past. They were real difficult to work with. But I helped them get in a position to, because at first I worked with them in the aspect of just finding a job, and that was virtually impossible.
Yeah.
Because no matter what I brought them, they were not willing to do it. Because, they're frighteningly smart, well educated, but nothing I brought to them met their requirements.
Yeah.
And the 2 interviews I took them on, they went so fucking poorly. I can't even express it. And some of it's just their disability,
Yeah.
It's especially with mental health and ASD, their style of communication is so blunt and aggressive
Yeah.
that, like, if I'm an employer, and we had endless conversations about, like, you can't talk like that.
Hmm.
Why not? Because the social contract does not allow for that. Like, no one's going to employ you. Well, then they should learn to grow up, and and just fucking the obstinance was really hard to work with.
Hmm.
I really like this young man, but man, he would make me want to pull my hair out. They helped him, like, this all helped him, like, start to look at how he could contract as, like, a consultant.
Hmm.
But then he had a full blown meltdown, hospitalization.
Oh,
Like, it was bad.
yeah.
And I left before he got out of hospitalization. So, which was like months later. He was in hospital for quite a while.
Hmm.
So, but, like, he's a good example of someone who I would say, like, that's, if it's causing that sort of level of struggle. I worked with someone for a number of years at my last job who worked for the federal government.
Hmm.
This person worked at one point worked in Fish and Wildlife, worked in Homeland Security, which I was like, what? And then worked in the FDA. Had worked for the federal government for 30 years, and their diagnosis not much different than yours.
Hmm.
Different, but not terribly different. They were on disability, and they received employment services from Deed. I was their employment counselor. And one thing that we did together all the time was make sure I could help them stay employed, dealing with social issues at work. And they were constantly looking to move out of the agency they were in. So we did endless applications into other federal agencies, did interviews, did all kinds of stuff. And they needed very little of my help.
Yeah.
They were on the ball. They knew their stuff. I mean, they could fill out the federal applications, which are fucking wild. They're like 40 pages long. You have to list your entire employment history with every federal agency you've ever worked in. It's crazy. They knew how to do all that 10 times better than I did. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good example. Like, I worked with a lot of kids, but my 3 adults that I worked with almost the entirety of my time there were all, like, had jobs that paid way more than mine. They made, like, way more money than I did. And had been very stable in those jobs, but they had significant disability issues. And they were not like outward presenting disability. People would sometimes call them hidden disabilities because a lot of them are mental health. So I think that's something to look into.
Yeah. No, that gives me a lot of food for thought for sure, man.
Some people are very reticent to do that, and one of the things you have to do is you have to not work while you're going through that process because you have to show need.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not working right now, now's the perfect time to do it.
Okay.
Like, for my dad, it was difficult because at the beginning he was working, and they were like, "You can't work. You can't be making. You can't have income coming in." And he was like, "Well, that's good, but what the fuck am I gonna do for food? How am I gonna purchase my meds?
Mm-hmm.
What am I?" And he actually worked for a nonprofit that helped people get their disabilities, and even then they were like, "Yeah, sorry, that doesn't we don't fucking care," because the federal government is weird as fuck.
Yeah.
But I mean, now might be a good time to look into that pretty, like, really look into it if it's something where you think it might be helpful to you in the long run.
Okay.
But sorry, I monopolized that.
No, you're great.
I didn't want to jump in because I felt like this is not necessarily the place for it. But at some point, there was an opportunity to use the bona fide stud and certified G, and I just want to know that everybody can recognize that that we are all bona fide studs and certified G's.
If I had a nickel for every time someone said that to me, I'd have 0 nickels.
0 times. Yeah. Anyway. Anyhow, we love you. We miss
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Colin, you know
I'm
this.
really happy that you could be on today.
Yeah.
As always. And I look forward to more Star Warsing. I do think that one of the things that has been the most challenging about running that other
Thanks,
game
Shaggy.
is like not having Ryan there, like not having that kind of missing component, like that flavor that you feel like is, it's good, it's great, I love it. But it's like when you're used to having it a little different, it's like, when you don't go to Burger King, can't have it your way,
Your other D&D game?
Sometimes that, like I'm just like really trying to kind of figure out what does that look like with those three people. I think that the fun thing about, and maybe what made Star Wars so good is like when it's just Nate and Ryan and I, it can be because Nate is Nate and I'm me and Ryan is Ryan, it can feel a little imbalanced. And I think I was kind of feeling that. Like I felt like I either needed to like I felt like if I was like the Jedi part of that like I felt like I should be like pulling the same weight in some way. And so it felt like really nice to have someone else that was kind of like, I don't know if like law abiding is the right word, but like Colin's character has just like an ethos,
Yeah.
And that was
not just a shit disturber.
Yeah. Or just like off, sowing his wild oats like Nate, felt like nice to have someone else on task with me. That sounds really petty, but
No, but I think, one thing about Ryan, which makes him such a good player, is out of everyone, and I say this not to insult anyone else, but I also say it because it's true. Ryan has proven to me to be the most versatile person I run games that they play in.
Mm-hmm.
None of his characters are the same at all. They're all wildly different.
Minotaurs. Wildly different Minotaurs.
Not playing Minotaur and Chaos Guy.
I'm just joking.
I mean, he has an archetype.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing around.
He got tight.
He is a penchant, yeah.
But overall, I think that everybody does to a degree. I feel like he is the most willing to travel outside that. Like again, Nate is always going to be Mr. Consistency.
Yeah.
No matter what we play or what we run or what we do, you can count on Nate to do a couple things, and you can count on Nate to be Nate.
Nate is to me the Tony Gwynn of D&D. He will never be the flashiest person.
No,
but he hits for average every single time.
He gets on base.
There's no question about whether like Nate will deliver. Nate will deliver like at that level consistently, like great thoughts, like great and Nate flavor.
I think the other thing Nate does really well is Nate is the most like consistent. Nate's a character actor. He doesn't need to be the star. He doesn't need you to do anything to like. I definitely, the way I run games is I try very hard to give everyone their moment, and I try very hard to occasionally give everyone the storyline where their shit is the main shit and everybody else is the guest star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try to make it a fucking team book.
Yeah.
I don't always succeed at that because I do have some people that I'll be like, so it's my book. I don't have that very often, but it does fucking happen. And it's really difficult to work around that because I find that generally the people who do that are the people who will pour blood, sweat, and tears into it and then can sometimes feel very put off when someone who doesn't, who's just like, I'm just here for the beer and pretzels, baby, gets time in the spotlight, and they're like, but why?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And part of me understands that.
Is Nate the fucking James Cromwell of D&D?
I think he kind of is. And then you have bomb throwers, which, no offense, Colin, you are a bomb thrower. And you know, actually, my dad is the one who coined that phrase when I was a kid. But you come in and you're like, oh, this is the status quo. Well, fuck your status quo, because I don't believe in status quo, baby. Let's get off the fucking rails. And then, you know, then it's like, that's one of the things I enjoy as a guy running games, when someone is absolutely challenging me, almost like it's a game of one-upsmanship of like, well, all this was nice. All your fucking laid plans were wonderful. Watch them burn.
Which the great irony is, Colin is the person who experiences that the most with our.
Yeah, I think that, like, I do that sometimes too, Colin. Don't feel bad. I think it might be the curse of people who play games, who run games and then get to play in them. Is sometimes they just do that, like, you know, they're the
Drive it like you stole it, man.
some people just want to watch the world burn, Master Bruce.
Yeah.
I think that like turns sometimes into us, because it turns into like, well, if I'm the one who's constantly got to fucking put out the fire, I want to watch someone else dance the jig. So we just fucking destroy everything around us like we're a goddamn fucking kaiju.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're my bomb thrower, but also you're my person who will push things forward a lot of times, whether I want them to go forward or not. You're my person though, who I have to constantly go, okay, how do I get Colin invested? Like, you're the person I have to work the hardest at to give you something that is going to keep you from throwing that bomb. Because that's the thing. People who throw bombs in games, they don't do them. Like, I know I don't do it to purposely, you know, make it hard on anybody. It's just like, sometimes you get in a point as a player where you're like, we got to move on. Like, I need a beat here. Let's go. Like,
Yeah.
And I think sometimes those of us who run games, myself included, are like, yeah, beat's great, but like that beat, I got that playing for like down the fucking road. So, you know,
What you really need is rhythm.
Yeah, settle thyself. And then, like I said, you know, you've got people who are very invested and are there to be there. I think, you know, Beard, you fall in that category. Sometimes I can fall into that category. Everybody can fall into many different categories. I think that's a real key. These are like archetypes. Like I would say in the Star Wars game we played, Colin, that's where you were at. In that game, in the Hidden Path game, you were like, okay, I'm invested and I'm curious. Where's this going? Like, as opposed to Scum and Villainy, where you were just like, when are we there yet, Mom? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because if we're not there yet, I'm going to sell the car to the first people I see on the road.
Yeah.
Sell the caravan to the first fucking people on the road.
Maybe I might become a double agent too. While
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. And see, that's the thing. I tried to throw shit like that in there to hopefully like slow you down in the game enough to go, oh, okay, well, these are things that could happen. But really, all I ended up doing was probably giving you more shit that you were like, I mean, I think I felt like by the end of that, I was like, I'm giving you shit you have no agency over that I'm sure does not help.
The penis worms are kind of a no agency situation. But oh, were you not there?
No, that was not the same game. I don't think that must have been a Scum and Villainy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was not my Scum and Villainy, I don't think.
Yeah, that happened. But,
penis worms.
Well, they were going to explode out in my penis, I believe.
No.
Why did I get that in my head?
I don't know. He got some Jedi blood in him, and the blood was still functionally part of the other Jedi.
Oh. So they were just they were just having a time.
Having a time. Yeah, no, I
And then it turned out that stuff was actually the genetic material for birthing another Jedi. So he was carrying the child of a Jedi.
Oh,
Mhm.
damn. Well,
So
all right. That
he's
sounds like
going to be a
party.
proud parent.
Proud surrogate for sure.
yeah.
But also the Jedi was not exactly maybe someone you'd want to be. Maybe you'd want to be associated with. I mean, they were kind of like on the back end of their sanity. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
that was a wild
Shaggy,
situation.
I love this. It says, "Tits not the bear. The rhythm is going to get you." And then it corrects it. He corrects himself to say beat, but does not correct tits. It's
No.
not the beat. The rhythm is going to get you. I think good.
So, but I agree. I mean, I think that there's archetypes that people fall into, and I think we have to be very cognizant of that. And I think we have to be like, try to play to strengths and try to bring that in. I mean, I think like in certain games, especially one shots
Mhm.
or games you only play once a year, if you're in the right mindset for that shit, like I'm always amazed, Colin, that you can run Tales from the Loop without pulling your fucking hair out. Because that game gives me anxiety with those players. That it's just like, basically, it's like, hey, let's do a fucking 3-hour long improv once a year, and where I'm trying to be the referee, but no one's listening.
It's I don't know. It's fun.
It's beautiful,
like
but
it.
it's also so fucking chaotic that.
But it gives me a chance to like, oh, okay, so we're gonna go this way. Well, oh, guess who this is? Peter Weller's coming in the door, baby. And everyone's just like, oh no.
That's the thing. It's like a riff off, and
Yeah.
I love it. But like, if I had to run that, I would be exhausted by the end, and I would probably be really frustrated because I would be like, it's just not. I think it would be hard for me to find it super enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the key is like you have to have different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
And that's you're doing a different stroke that like this is not meant to be like anything but complimentary. You're doing a stroke I can't do like currently.
Yeah.
I no longer feel like I have the capacity for that particular stroke. And not the Jeff Jarrett stroke, because fuck off Jeff Jarrett. Slap
Ain't he
nuts.
great? Yeah. I mean, there's probably only been like one game of Tales from the Loop that I've ever run that I was really starting to get frustrated with, like just one player. But otherwise, it's usually been pretty. Oh no, not you at all. He's not watching. Nathan Leahy. Oh man, that Return of the Living Dead game we played. I was
that was tough.
almost about to lose my mind.
I played that game and I also was going to lose my mind.
Yeah, that was
Up in here. That
was getting crazy. The interruptions and like I'm the main character kind of attitude.
I think that's hard though, because it's like, I think he's in a particular situation where he doesn't get to play very often.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's like, fuck yeah, Extra Life, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And I also get that, you know. So I try to be very understanding of it, but at the same time, I also have felt that they've been like, just stop. Pump your fucking brakes.
Yeah. But I think even that particular game turned out okay at the end. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I quickly learned like sometimes even with all like, I don't know, like you could write pages and pages and pages of like game notes and preparation, and sometimes just the best way to make sure everyone is having a good time is to just fucking toss
Sometimes you can do a weekly 1 hour plus show about it. No, I hear you, man. And that's the thing. I think it's like super play to your strengths. And this is why I'm trying to wrap my head around the idea of doing miniseries. Because I was watching someone whose channel, his name escapes me, but someone I like who does like game content. And they were saying like, hey, no more long campaigns for me.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it. It makes my attention span hurt. Like it hurts me physically. And it's too much work. And
Yeah.
he's like, I got kids. I'm in like mid-30s and all that shit. And he's like, I can't. Also, my players are people and they have lives and jobs and kids and all this. So I can't count on them.
Mhm.
So now it's just these short, controlled, bursts of like miniseries. So I was like, maybe that helps. Because like, as you see by my title and my name, I'm fucking burned out. I've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
Just hammer. Before we were doing streams and all that, I've been just hammering through. And with the exception of fucking Tasty Boys, I haven't played in anything like consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Except for I played in that game in Misty Mountain North at Misty Mountain North gaming store for like 3 months, and then the players made me so mad I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And that had nothing to do with the guys running the game, and everything to do with when someone changes your character sheet while you're in the bathroom to optimize it all the way to 20th level. And you're like, I just wanted to play my character. You tend to get a little fucking aggravated.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not that fun at the best of times. Let alone at the worst of times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's just where I'm at, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talk about it all the time, I'm sure, but it's like, yeah, if you guys could not talk about your fucking burnout for once, maybe you guys are just a bunch of fucking burnouts. I'm sure it gets old to hear about.
No.
But I do appreciate the folks who listen, and I appreciate you folks who contribute, and I appreciate my friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, all that good stuff. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool.
Chia.
Chia.
Whoa.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think with that said and noted,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys got stuff to do. I am gonna play some Stardew Valley, and then Doug's gonna come over and we're gonna watch some of Mountain Monsters. So, Beard, where can homies find you out in the wild?
You can find me lots of places. You can find me on
You
Instagram.
can find me lots of
If
places.
you're architects, you can find me on Twitter, Huey Beardwalks. And this Friday and Saturday, you can find me in the Berkshires in Massachusetts for Paranormal Pro Wrestling with our good friend Vlad Radnoff. There's going to be a show in the evening on Friday, and then which is going to be wild. And then Saturday at 10:30 a.m. there's going to be wrestlers reading. It's all to support the Bushnell Public Library, and then there's going to be the Festival of Friendship throughout the day on that Saturday. So get in out there. I may or may not have a microphone around me at some point, but gonna go out and support Chris and all of the great work that he's doing up there with that. You can find him on Patreon at Wrestling Is Everything. So go and support. If you're out on the East Coast, you can get VIP tickets to every show they do at a certain level. Otherwise, he's gonna be writing. He and I have been talking about some stuff that we used to do, fighting spirits, and we've been talking about how the posse supports each other. So stay tuned to that. Paranormal Pro Wrestling. Wrestling Is Everything.
We've been talking too about maybe doing some additional stuff.
Yeah.
For that, I will say this, and some of us really miss certain aspects of a company we're not going to talk about, because we did some stuff with them peripherally. We interviewed a lot of people from that company.
Mhm.
We were big fans.
Mhm.
And then it turned out not all people involved were good beings.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately during the last couple of years, we found out that that's something, that is just a thing.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but it is, and it's very frustrating for those of us who love wrestling, and for those of us who were even as peripherally involved as we were.
Mhm.
Because I don't like to say we were anything more than that. Even though we did get money for doing wrestling shit.
Mhm.
Not enough to feed our families, but
We also did over 350 podcasts.
we did do a lot of podcasts. We did a lot of bullshit. So like, I know Beard and I've talked about it. I got a little bit of that itch.
Yeah.
Beard's got a little bit of that itch. I think if we weren't still coming out of and dealing with the after effects of a pandemic and new strains of said, shit, I might have been right beside Beard on that trip. But unfortunately, that it's not meant to be for me. But I would like to do other stuff to be involved. Chris and I have talked about that a little bit, but also as Beard and I have talked about it, like there's other shit I can do from the comfort of my own space. So maybe you might see us do some shit on this channel in the name of for the Power of Grayskull. I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore.
Colin, where can they find you?
You can find me doing Meng on Meng every other Tuesday, and then every other Thursday. This Thursday, I think we have.
We do. We don't know what we're talking about. People ask, what are we talking about? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
You know what would be fun is talking Child's Play.
Let's talk Child's Play.
All right, because
it's your show.
I just watched the 3rd season of the TV series and it's fantastic.
I'm doing a TV series, so how about this? How about the episode? You sell me on watching Child's Play the series.
Okay, all right, yeah, we got it. I'll bring up all the high points.
Yeah, you sell it to me as well as everyone else. I think that could be really fucking funny, actually.
Yeah, and we can
Maybe
even
that's what we do from now on for different stuff. We like
try to sell each other on it.
Might be not as into as we do.
Yeah,
we do episodes that are just like, let me sell you on this fucking weird thing that I like.
And I'd love to do another one of those 60-second, like, okay, this movie.
I think that is now when we talk about one movie or a series, and it's a like a dive, like we do sometimes. I think that's the new standard for the synopsis part, because both you and I can get so fucking lost in the sauce on those.
Yeah,
because we're so goddamn excited to talk about them.
Yeah,
that I think it works better when we both are like, okay, you mean I'm forced to talk about this for as little time as possible? Okay, fine, I will.
No, that was hilarious doing that for Tremors. I really enjoyed that.
It was, I think it worked, and it forced us, even me especially, because I will do the one more thing. More than any other human being alive. I think that it worked. And it only worked because you making my horror dreams come true.
Ooh.
You're a cunt. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did.
So good.
No, that's hilarious.
So fucking good.
But this Thursday, Spoopy Boys, or formerly known as Spoopy Boys, Spoopy, whatever we want to call it. We're just getting crazy.
Spoop Troop.
Spoop Troop.
You know who we are. You know who we're with.
And
Very
then you can find me doing prep school if I'm not hanging with my chillins. And playing in some Star Wars from here and there. And if you feel like gaming with me at any time, Creepin' Colin on Steam, Xbox, all that goodness. And
So
yeah,
you weren't there for last Spoop, National
yeah.
Boys, but I did make the commitment. God rest my soul. I will do Fortnite with y'all,
Hey,
but you got to tell me when. And I think we're gonna do Fortnite Lego. I think that's what we
yeah.
agreed upon. Oh, Super
Sounds good to
Spike.
me.
I think we just need to tell Shan like, hey, do you want to come talk about Fortnite or not Fortnite, Fallout or FNAF? And they would be like, I'm already there. So those are two areas.
Yeah,
where
I
that
could talk
individual
about
has
Fallout some more. And yeah, my kids have gotten super into FNAF too, so my knowledge has grown a little bit. So yeah, if we want to get Shan back on to talk about that stuff, that'd be great.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think those are two
Or
things.
just getting into more horror games and stuff in general.
I have
not in
been
the movie so
saying
much.
for a while, I would love to talk about Immortal Hulk and some other like
Yes.
non-traditional media horror.
Yeah.
I mean, as you well know, because I never shut the fuck up about it. I love liminal horror. I love analog horror, internet-based stuff.
Yeah.
We'll mention it a lot, but we never go deep dive on it. I feel like that's something that we could definitely do. But horror games, especially in all their wide variety of
Yeah. Well, yeah, we should pick a topic then.
Yeah, I think. But next
Yeah.
this Thursday, this coming Thursday is Creepin' Colin sells us on sells us a bill of goods on Chucky and Child's Play TV show.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
down for that.
I'm down. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Colin takes us downtown to
prepare.
pound town about Chucky and all his diabolical television activities.
I'll be your friend to the end.
Oh God. That casts some fucking horrible memories of childhood. Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now I'm getting real excited. I get to watch all these again. Heck yeah.
I think put on the Discord too the watch list.
For sure. Will do. Yeah.
Put a little watch list out of like, hey, before the show, here's what you need to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you should try to watch, and here's what you should avoid watching.
Well, there's nothing to avoid with Child's Play. You got to take it all in. You got to just lean back and let it cover you.
Just let it get its goo all over you.
All over you. Rub it in. It's good for your skin.
Oh God. Okay.
It's childlike wonder and goo all over you.
Night night.
Beard, where can people find you on the internet?
I already did it.
Not on Thursdays.
Not on Thursdays. Maybe Tuesdays.
All right, I'll be back tomorrow night for the Chaos Car. If anyone wants to join, I put it up in the Discord. I reached out to former players from Facebook to let them know and give them invites to Discord from now on, because there's a couple people I know who are like, "Are you guys still doing that?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Yeah, we are, in fact." So I would like to hopefully get some of those people back involved in what we do in the shadows, I guess. I don't even know where that came from. And then there's no Meng this week. Sorry, I'm trying to think why I plant my farm here for the first day of spring. And then Friday, it's not the first Friday of the month. Maybe we might try to squeeze something in Friday. I don't know. If my wife is on her friendship time with Jenna, then I might try to. But if it's regular ass wife time, then probably not.
Okay.
Whatever that fuck. What is regular ass wife time? No one knows. You're not the boss of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the schedule coming up, and then the next week, or then it's Friday be. Oh, we said that. So Sunday would be this, whatever this is,
Yeah.
thing we do in the shadows. And then next Monday is DNO. And we're doing back-to-back weeks of DNO.
Ooh.
Because one of us was very much like not feeling it earlier this month.
Yeah.
And now is like, I'm back at it. You're gonna be sorry. You'll be sorry you ever crossed me, Jim McMahon.
Oh boy.
So yeah, that's the schedule, I guess. Look at me, just doing schedule stuff, Beard. Who'd have thunk it, huh?
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it? Chonky boy had schedule, must travel. All right. Yeah. So I want to say thank you to my homeboys, my home skillets, my road dogs, my special boys for coming on and talking about how we make the sausage, and for talking about games and Star Wars and all that good stuff. Sorry I'm rambling. It's because I want to, and I want to finish this fucking farming. It's 12:30 at night, and I am gotta watch the clock, and I'm not even going to get on my farm for my flowers set up, and I'm very disappointed about my time management, which leads me to say Bombas to you all. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Hey, Beard, take us out.
Bye.